after watching SmackDown, I thought it's really nice that we have Cody Rhodes and Bianca Belair back. And then a couple of days later, we heard about R-Truth, so that's definitely unfortunate. These are my assorted thoughts on the March 30th, 2025 WWE Smackdown. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean. So I'm recording this Tuesday, June 3rd. It's about 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So yes, I've not only seen SmackDown, but I've seen Monday's Raw or last night's Raw, which I'm going to do a video about right after this one. But yeah, right after watching SmackDown, the first thought was actually not even right after watching. Right when Cody Rhodes' music hit, I thought, yeah, this is what we were missing. I mean, SmackDown's 3 hours long. It's not going back to 2 hours, but these shows, I guess, since WrestleMania have not felt maybe as big as they could be. Yeah, we had the great tag team stuff, but yeah, Cody's back. Good. There was a Cody-shaped hole. His promo was, it was typical Cody, but he got the Cody Rhodes from the crowd. And yes, it was a surprise that Jey Uso came down. Yeah, we've just seen Jey on Raw, but it was nice to see this full, I think, 14,000 people in Knoxville, Tennessee. Yeah, of course, we got the Jey Uso entrance, which lasted the entire commercial break. And I actually saw this not live, but a little bit after. So it cut out the commercial on Netflix. And then we got Cena. Cena came out as expected. And then he brought in a much less pleasant surprise, Logan Paul. And you know what? I mean, okay, the exchange, Logan Paul made some interesting points when he was saying you're a bunch of like Nepo babies, quote unquote, and the two of us are self-made men. I mean, it's technically true. I don't know what kind of family support Logan Paul had, but yeah, as far as being part of the industry, Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes are both from dynasties. So he made some point. It was a kind of standard promo, but a bit better. And there was, of course, the break apart fight at the end. But you know what? This felt big. This felt like, I don't know if it's quite to the level of big that the SmackDowns leading up to WrestleMania last year felt, where The Rock was there every week, but this felt more like a SmackDown. I think one of the reasons why SmackDown works better as a 2-hour show is because it's almost like you just get some major things, and then you get a smattering of a few other feuds. But you know what? At least if they're staying at 3 hours, Cody definitely fills that hole. But also, you can give more time to a bunch of talents that otherwise might be cut. More on that later. That's actually unfortunately not the case, but that was what I was thinking the night of. So yeah, welcome back, Cody. Also, welcome back to the EST, Bianca Belair in her hometown. Of course, major babyface reaction at the beginning of the show. I still think she's going heel, but it's not going to happen in Knoxville, her hometown. And it was nice to see her, the getting them to sing the local song. A clear indication she's not turning heel this night, but I don't know what song that was. It was, I guess you have a 3-hour SmackDown, you got to fill it with something, right? Welcome to SmackDown. Naomi comes out, and I'm glad they're going back to this. I think they might actually do a Bianca Naomi match at some point in the near future. Who knows, maybe after Money in the Bank, but Naomi is like, she's really embracing this heel role. And with my brother, sometimes after we watch Raw on Mondays, we go back and we watch older stuff, but not like the classic stuff, which we've both seen, but the a few years ago stuff, which we haven't. And I think Naomi, from what I understand, has pretty much always been that like glow character, even before she went away and she came back with it. So seeing her in this heel persona, she's really taken it to heart. The whole thing about Bianca's parents, or actually went to go to Bianca's parents' house. She wasn't there, so she let herself in, like, creepy, stalkerish. And Bianca just let her know, like, if you keep messing with me, what I do to you is going to be, what you did to Jey is going to be nothing compared to what I did do to you. And we almost had a fight there, but Bianca, I think she's still injured. Her hand is still injured. So we got Jade coming out. We got that stare down between Jade and Bianca after Jade sort of kicked Naomi out of the ring, hinting that maybe, Bianca might have might have had something to do, even though she didn't know it, with the whole thing, and she might still turn heel. I think Jade is staying a babyface. That's, I think, crystal clear. I think. Now, if somehow they could have made it a triple threat match with the with the big three, Jade, Bianca, and Naomi. That would have been amazing, but instead we got another triple threat match: Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Nia Jax. And this was a really good match. Now, I was thinking that Jade Cargill was going to advance to Money in the Bank and maybe, somehow get the championship off Stratton, and that would lead to a few, maybe initially with Naomi, but then maybe with a heel Bianca for SummerSlam, because I think we're getting Jade Bianca at SummerSlam. I don't know why. I thought that since before WrestleMania. I just think that's going to be one of the matches, and I'm wondering how we get there. I thought maybe Bianca was going to win at Mania, and that's how we were going to get there. I don't know. I might be wrong. But yeah, the match was really good, and the ending was really clever. When Nia was going to sort of do the Annihilator on both Jade and Naomi. Naomi just moved out of the way, let Jade take the brunt of it, and then a surprise roll-up on Nia, 1, 2, 3. Naomi is going to Money in the Bank. And you know what? She's in contention. I don't know if I think she's going to win, but she's one of the two women who I think might win Money in the Bank. I'll have a more solid prediction in my predictions video, but I could see her with that briefcase. I could see her. I could see her trying to cash in on Jade, even though Jade doesn't have a championship, or just waiting for Jade to get a championship to cash in. I don't know. I think she could be a really destructive force, and that could be really fun. And this match was a really clever, fun to watch way to make that possible. If I recorded this on Saturday, there's no way the backstage segment with Solo Sikoa, JC Mateo, Jacob Fatu, and R-Truth in the subsequent match, or basically squash match, where R-Truth lost to JC Mateo, would have made it anywhere near this point on the video. It might have just been a final mention, if a mention at all. But I didn't record this on Saturday, and Sunday we got the news that R-Truth was released from WWE. So yeah, I guess this is a good a time as any, a good a place as any to discuss. I'm not going to discuss the match. It was a squash match. It was just a follow-up to Saturday night's main event and a funny little segment. But of course, yeah, R-Truth released after I think like 12, 13 years or something. He was there originally in 99 as K-Quick. He went to TNA. He came back. And yeah, he hasn't been featured that much lately. He's maybe he shows up on TV once a month, but he has these little bouts of being featured, like it was match against John Cena and his bit where he was trying to join the Judgment Day. And then briefly he was a tag team. Well, for a few months, a lot longer than anyone thought, he won the tag team titles at WrestleMania and was a tag team champion with The Miz. So it's few and far between, but he has some prominent spots. Also, he's incredibly well-liked backstage from what I hear. I don't have any contacts, just I listen to a lot of blogs and podcasts. And he's really entertaining. And I was actually really shocked that he was released. I thought it was actually a joke. A lot of people thought, seeing as he posted this on June 1st, that the R-Truth character was confused and he thought it was the same as April 1st. So it was an April Fool's joke on June 1st. But no, that wasn't it. It's legit. From what we hear, it's legit. Now, I wouldn't put it past him to turn this into a storyline, like have him showing up and they were like, Truth, you were let go. You were released. He's like, yeah, I was released from the Judgment, something like that, like, and bring him back. But that's only if there's enough outcry. But even without the outcry, I get that they have to release talent. I get that some talent, like they released Carlito. Now, Carlito wasn't really doing much on screen. But I think he'll be fine. Well, R-Truth is going to be fine too. He's been making a significant salary for several decades in WWE. So if he knows at all how to save his money, he doesn't seem like someone who spends it foolishly. He's not his character. So I'm sure that he's going to be fine. He might show up in some other promotion. He might even show up in TNA and then sort of come back into WWE. I'm wondering why. Everyone says it's TKO. TKO apparently set the budget for Triple H. Like, you got to cut this much of the budget. And apparently they offered R-Truth a smaller deal or a deal for less money, and he chose not to take it. Understandably, who wants to take a pay cut when you're doing fine? You just had a bit with John Cena. I think maybe the reason why he was actually worth the money he was paid before was because he was very big on the house show circuit. I went to a house show, the holiday tour. He was definitely a big part of it, a fun part of it. And WWE, at the urging of TKO, is really cutting down almost except for maybe the holiday tour and a few others in Europe, say, cutting down the house shows, not doing it as much. And he wasn't featured on TV that much on a regular basis. So I guess it makes sense to offer them that, but still, that's kind of, maybe they could offer him a Legends deal. Maybe they can bring him back on a temporary basis. I mean, I think maybe it's an idea of either you keep him or you keep 3 different talent on NXT or something like that. And there's been an outpouring from people online, from fellow wrestlers, actually, people who know him, because apparently he's really loved backstage. And people are really much in shock that this lifer, the guy seemed like he was a lifer, is being cut at this time just after having a program with John Cena. I think maybe they knew this was coming. They knew it might go this way. So maybe Cena wanted to work with him. They gave him one last big promo for Cena. People are talking they should give him a send-off. I think they should give him a send-off, but how do you give a send-off to someone that isn't like injured and retiring? Someone who it was your choice to essentially fire him. Well, I mean, they just didn't renew his contract. At least they let him run out to the end of his contract. Apparently, under the previous administration, he was somebody that could never be fired. I guess it's different under TKO. I'm going to miss seeing R-Truth on my TV. I hope they reverse this decision. And I think that random thing on SmackDown with JC Mateo should not really be his last match. I think maybe the Cena match should have been his last match. I think he'll be back. I think it was a bad move to cut him. And I deep down hope that ultimately, even if it wasn't originally, they can turn this into storyline and bring him back. Now back to the fun stuff. We had Chelsea Green backstage. I love this. I loved it. She had a mask of her face that Piper Niven held up, concealing her bedazzled face mask. Eventually, later, we actually got to see how she looks bruised, but I thought this was clever. I also really love the Secret Service and Chelsea's interplay with Nick Aldis, in particular the part where they Chelsea's like, okay, how about you strip her of the title and give it to me because of what happened, and she looks at her colleagues and like, yeah, like that's gonna work, and of course Nick Aldis doesn't. I love Chelsea. I love the Hervis. The match between Alba Fire and Zelina Vega was okay. I mean, it was good. It was a fun match. It was fun to Chelsea getting unmasked. It was all about Chelsea, though. Good to see Alba Fire getting some action. Obviously, Alba Fire is not going to win because the last thing you want is dissension in the Secret Service, because if she wins, then she's the number 1 contender because she just pinned the U.S. champ. And I think the one who pinned the U.S. champ is Julia, and I think she's going to be Zelina's next feud. So maybe we'll find a way to put Chelsea into another feud. I like how they're still keeping this like she's the quasi-president Secret Service thing going, even though she's not the United States champion. I think they could have done wonders with the Money in the Bank briefcase, passing it around like it's the nuclear codes and stuff like that. But I guess they're not going to do it. I hope they find something good for Chelsea because she's incredibly over with the crowd. I think they're moving her away from the U.S. title. Maybe she'll be transferred to Raw. Maybe they'll all be on Raw, and then she'll go after the Women's Intercontinental title. But I got tickets for SmackDown, so I'm hoping she's there when I see it. So we'll see where they go with this. An okay match, but again, really fun to see what Chelsea did on the show. And the backstage part was, I think, even the highlight of the Chelsea Green experience on this SmackDown. And we had another Money in the Bank qualifier match. It was the U.S. champion Jacob Fatu versus Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade. Now, from the start, I knew that Jacob was somehow going to be screwed over, quote unquote, inadvertently, get my quotes on the screen, inadvertently by Solo Sikoa and wasn't going to win. I did think Carmelo Hayes was going to win, but he didn't. Andrade did. That's what surprised me. But the fact that there was a Solo distraction that went wrong did not surprise me at all, because logically Jacob was really good in this match. If this was, basically based on the build of the based on the story, based on the characters, and just based on looking at the guys, there's no way Jacob Fatu should lose this match without interference. So it made sense. I was thinking Jacob might actually win it, because that would almost justify Solo being in Money in the Bank. And then their inevitable breakup. Again, Triple H's booking is glacial. He's a great storyteller, great long-term storyteller, but his pace is sometimes glacial, and it is with this. Come on, just turn on Solo already, or Solo turn on him. Anyways, looks like that might happen, but yeah, they did it the way that one of the ways I thought they might do it. So I'm fine with that. And I'm surprised it's not going to be Carmelo Hayes. He won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, but Money in the Bank is, of course, more important. I don't think Andrade is going to win, but I think he's going to be good in the match. And this was actually a pretty fun, exciting match to watch. I also like Jacob Fatu's pre-match stare down with Damian Priest, which followed Damian Priest's in-ring promo, where it's a very simple promo. He called out Jacob Fatu. He said he doesn't like the crew that's following him around, but he definitely understands that Jacob Fatu is kind of like him, and he understands where he's coming from, and he is the biggest killer out there. And you know what? Priest and Fatu, that could be interesting. I mean, I'm pretty sure that might actually turn Priest back heel because the crowd loves Fatu so much. But maybe if Solo and them are still there, Priest will still be the babyface. I think this could be an incredible series of matches. I think Jacob Fatu is ultimately going on to bigger, better things, but I think this could be a good stop on the road. Maybe even a SummerSlam match between these two, if they're not doing Fatu and Solo. And Los Garza won a match. That should be the headline. But of course, the headline is that NXT's Javon Evans teamed with Ray Phoenix against Los Garza, and NXT's Ethan Page was on commentary. Javon Evans, wow, definitely going to be on the main roster at some point. I don't think anytime soon. This is mainly to promote their match at Worlds Collide. Ethan Page, typical like cornball sort of arrogant heel. I don't know what he has to back it up. I also know he's Canadian. I'm Canadian. I hate it when, I mean, then again, I guess Edge and Christian when they were being their, like flash photography Canadian, but I don't know. He seems like the kind of heel you want to punch. Of course, I wouldn't. I'm sure these guys, anyone in WWE could probably kick my ass. But anyways, Javon Evans looked great. Ray Phoenix looked great as always. And Los Garza got a win. I guess it's a good way to set them up for their match at Worlds Collide. I didn't think I'd see Los Garza getting a win. Well, I think they got one a few months ago, but that's the real headline here. And we had a promo train with all the people in the really hot SmackDown tag team scene that, of course, ended with the Wyatt Six taking out everyone. Now, on my Saturday night's main event review, I didn't do a full assorted thoughts on SmackDown, but I did say that last time when the great tag team title match between Street Profits and Fraxium was interrupted by DIY, I was annoyed. I was like, please don't let it end like this. And I was happy when Motor City Machine Guns came in, took out DIY. I'm like, good, it's going to end like a proper ending. And then, even though I wanted to see this match end, I was not upset that they were surprisingly interrupted by the Wyatt Six and their return out of nowhere, Bray Wyatt's birthday, whatever. I hadn't clocked that before, because it was really cool to see them back and really surprising. Now, obviously, the Wyatt Six are now integrating themselves into this scene, not with Alexa Bliss. I think mainly their feud might be with DIY because they brought out Candice LeRae, so we could have Nikki Cross fight her. I mean, maybe it's going to be with the whole scene or certain teams from it. I mean, also, who is the tag team in Wyatt Six? Maybe I don't know if Uncle Howdy would be part of the tag team or if he's the one pulling the strings from behind. I'm confused. I'm a little bit wondering where they're going to go with this, but this is, again, way better than the Raw tag team scene. Very interesting. And now you've mixed the Wyatts in. I'm wondering if they're going to go with maybe Gacy and Loomis. Maybe Uncle Howdy will be the tag team. I'm not sure. I think this might lead to different feuds. Maybe some of the teams will align with the Wyatts, but maybe there'll be a title change. I'm not really sure where this is going to go, but I'm still, I was always really into this scene and already really into this scene, and I'm definitely excited to see where it goes with the Wyatts, though I'm a little bit confused as to how this might look. But I'm looking forward to it. And these were my assorted thoughts on the May 30th, 2025 WWE Smackdown. A Smackdown that set attendance records for Knoxville or maybe for all of Tennessee. Really hot crowd, really good. And because of Cody and Bianca coming back, I still think it should go back to 2 hours, but at least this Smackdown felt more important. It felt bigger. Do you agree with my assorted thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. Plus jasoncmclean.bsky.social on Blue Sky. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications to get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, WWE premium live event prediction and review videos, wrestling opinion pieces, and assorted thoughts on Raw and SmackDown. I will be back with my assorted thoughts on Raw. Until then, for Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.